Want to say welcome to everybody to the Family MORL and Kid Needs Family Conference. I'm going to be kind of drifting back and forth watching the monitor here today. It's great to have those of you who've been here before and to see your faces again, and I hope I get the opportunity to meet the rest of you who I didn't meet yesterday. I hope at the end our intention is that at the end of this weekend, you're going to receive information that is really going to empower you more for your own healthcare advocacy and decision-making. Come on in, Megan. And we also hope that you will find the community that really forms the heart of this conference today. This year is the 19th Family Conference. And so I looked up numerology and see what the number 19 signified. And it said that on the tarot card number 19, that was the kind of a symbolism for success and happiness. And I think that you will hear this year we've had some significant successes and indeed the accompanying happiness that comes with that. Let's see. First, I'd like to start out by saying thank you to all of our speakers. Doctors Nestor and Smith, Thomas, Richardson, Taylor, Laura, Christy are all donating their time today to come bring you this information. We are extremely grateful that they've given their time and their knowledge to us. And please, if you have the time to meet with them and thank them individually, that would be very appropriate. Also, I'd like to thank the family members who are speaking on panels today. I know that is a very difficult thing to share your story in front of other people. I rarely get through my talk without crying, and so I want to thank you in advance. The messages that you are going to share with us today are going to be some of the most memorable and compelling ones that we will take away. After I've been given the privilege of saying welcome to everybody, then I am given the impossible task of condensing the Kid Needs history and the MORL connection, which is now 27 years in the making, into a 17.5-minute talk. So I'm going a little bit over today. So of course, wanting to kind of retell the story so that Ed and Carolyn weren't bored by hearing it for about the 20th time, I did what every sane person does, and I said, Alexa, what is a good theme for this year? And Alexa didn't really, well, she might have understood. And she said, oh, would you like to hear a joke about the wild robot? I thought, that's random, but I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and Google wild robot. So I watched the trailer of the wild robot, and I thought, you know, I was kind of teary at the end of it. And I thought, this is hitting some of the same chords that I have felt in our C3G journey. So in an attempt to shake it up for you guys who've heard this talk many times, I'm going to show you just a small clip from the wild robot while the coffee kicks in for all of us. And the backstory on this is that there is a shipment of robots that gets lost. It ends up, I'm getting blue. Okay, it ends up on an island of animals, doesn't know where it's been, doesn't know how to get back, and it doesn't know how to communicate in a language where it finds itself. And this is the point where I'm going to try to fast forward to here. Just to save some time here.
Learn how things work on this island.
Hello. Goslings in print on the first thing they see, which would be you.
Here is another now.
I do not have the programming.
No one does. He needs to swim and fly. Swimming's easy. I can teach him the way my mom taught me. Swim! A run. His chances are super good.
I will protect him. He's got to leave this island by fall. Right back.
It's more dangerous for him than anyone else.
but he has a chance. If where his wings end, his heart can pay the balance.
You are not easy to find. You are defective. I feel fine. You should not feel anything at all. Monk? No. Sometimes to survive, we must become more than we were programmed to be.
So if that pulls at your heartstrings at all, or you feel something familiar, and I feel the same. And if it didn't, I hope you enjoyed the clip. In 1992, after Jenna had been in kindergarten, she awoke from a nap. She had 106 fever. She was nauseous. Later that night, she developed blood in her urine. 8 months later, we got a diagnosis of MPGN type 2. 8 months after that, she went into rapidly progressive renal failure. And 2 months after that, she was on dialysis, and she was 7 years old. At that point, we felt like we had washed ashore someplace we didn't recognize, and there was no hope of ever finding our way back to where we were. Sorry, I have to do this or I will cry. So anyway, in 1997, after going really for that year from 1993 when this happened, for 4 years, we ran literally door to door to different people asking, what do you know that can help us? What do you know? And the answer was, there is no treatment. There is no one interested in studying this disease. There's really nothing that you can do. And so we said, we have no option other than to try. And so on October 30th in 1997, we founded Kid Needs as our way of trying to do something. And we found an amazing home at the Greater Cedar Rapids Community Foundation, where Kid Needs is a fund. They have been compassionate, they have been professional, and they have been extremely supportive of us. And you will hear more from Christy and Laura later, but thank you, because we couldn't have done this without you. Kid Needs' mission is very simple. Sorry, I'm getting behind on my slides here. The mission really, when we started, was simply to fund basic science research grants, what we called seed grants. They're $50,000 grants, and they were to enable scientists to get started exploring, to get them interested in exploring, researching C3G. And then from there to generate some information on which they could build for further research, or others could build on their knowledge base and move forward. In the time that we have been going, 27 years, we've awarded over $2.5 million in research grants. And all of that has come from family and friends of people with C3G. 100% of that goes into the funding, and it is not used for anything else. Let's see, hold on. Here's some of the grants, and you will hear more about our grants later on. We're a very simple organization. It's a volunteer organization. We have 2 boards, a scientific advisory board, which reviews the grants that come in. The scientists will score them like NIH grants, and they will give the pros and cons and then pass it to the Kid Needs Advisory Board. They look at it, we weigh the amount of money, the score of the grant, and then we make our decision for which grants to award that year. And then we pass it to this GCRCF board. They review it, approve it, and then they send it out. But that's not where it ends for them. They then monitor all the expenses of the funds, make sure that the money is spent the way that it is said it will be spent. And if it is not, then either an extension is given to the scientist or they retrieve the money. So there's a lot of great stewardship around the funds that we get. In 2004, one of the families, the Tully family, who have a daughter, with DDD came to us and said, how about we do a larger thing, gather scientists from around the world to meet and think about this problem, because there was nobody studying C3G. And so we said, well, that's a great idea. We've had that idea before, but we don't have the money to do it. And so they set up a fund at the GCRCF with the sole mission of helping fund conferences. So that in 2004, up to that point, we have 4 children, all within 4 years of each other. So we had really hoped to allocate our extra time to being parents. But at that point, Richard, besides being an ENT surgeon and a geneticist, really had to become a specialist in C3G in the complement field. So he did a deep dive, found some players that might be able to shed some knowledge on C3G. He organized a meeting in Boston and even went to what's the best configuration at a table, so all of these power players don't take over and they see that we are a team. And that was the first of the family conferences. From there, we had them about every other year. The scientists would meet in a different location, usually in Europe, because that's where the bulk were coming from. And then in 2015, we changed the format attached to the European Complement. I don't have enough time. Society, and then and what they did differently at that time is open the door to other people to come in here in an effort to try to generate more interest from the floor. And the scientists then began to be engaged with their questioning. And this grew until our last one in 2019, where we had 200 scientists pay to come hear our session there. It's still tear-evoking, shall I say, to have seen that growth. Let's see, where are we? To survive, you must become more than you were programmed to be. So my wonderful husband took this on, and MORL took this on, and they have become really the focus center for research nationwide, worldwide. The information that is coming out of MORL is extensive. They have provided free testing services for C3G patients, assisted drug companies in developing new treatments, set global standards for patient evaluation, complement studies, genetic testing, pathology diagnostics, ensuring proper patient categorization. They've collaborated with scientists worldwide to advance these efforts. To avoid any conflict of interest, Kidneys does not fund any of their research. This selfless, really star-studded team has shown immense dedication to finding a treatment for us, and we really owe them an unrepayable debt. So please thank MORL and Richard for all they have done. In 1997, in the early years, it was difficult to do family conferences because there was really nothing to share. And as the Harrises know, they came to Iowa, and really all we did was share our stories and support each other, because beyond prednisone, there was nothing to do. Over the time, we got to meet other families. There was a lot of privacy issues, so it was hard to connect. But in 2005, I think it was, that we held the first family conference where we brought together the people that we did know, and I think there was 18 people total here. So it has grown over the years, and as it has grown, there has been a lot of thank you. There has been a lot of initiatives from around the world in Europe, and Mona is going to give us an update today from Switzerland, and we're very grateful for all that is going on, but we could not have generated the numbers for drug trials without this global effort, which has been extensive and so very well appreciated. So over the 27 years that Kid Needs has been in existence, our story has really folded into a bigger story of the global effort to find a treatment. Innumerable people have contributed by doing the research, creating patient groups, sharing the information, monitoring the information, participating in drug trials, treating the C3G patients, advocating for C3G patients, fundraising, donating. It goes on and on. And the story, this Kid Needs story, is really about the collective heart of this community, paying the balance from where our wings ended. And it's that power of heart, determination, and love that has resulted in a treatment specifically for C3G that is a hair's breadth from approval. Thank you all for your part in the story, and welcome to the Family Conference.